everyone, I'm Lynn from Finds of Yesterday, and I went through all of my October sales and I chose the top 20 items that I profited over $30 each on. But today we're going to do it in a little different way, so stay tuned. All right, here we are on the first screen, and you'll see 4 pictures up. These are the first 4 items that profited over $30 each in the month of October. And I want you to choose which one sold or profited for the most over $30. And we're going to keep moving through screen to screen through the 20 items. And you get a star for each screen that you chose the right item for. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about each item and why I chose it. So most of the items in these top 20 are vintage items, and that's just what I like to do. If you like to do clothing or shoes or whatever it may be, that's totally up to you. This is just something I enjoy doing. And vintage items you can find out and about anywhere. And people will say, well, I don't know what to pick. Well, once you have been out there and done it enough, you kind of know what to pick. And I still choose bad items, but these are some of the better items, and that's why I chose the ones that are over profit of over $30 each. Now, the ones that sell for $10, $15, they're still good profit, but obviously you want to make a bigger profit on your items. So let's just get started with these first 4. And while I'm talking, think about which one you think is the most profitable out of these 4. So the first one is an Erzgebirge handcrafted trees. These are handmade in Germany, and the reason I chose them was because anything handcrafted in Germany is collectible, and it's vintage items especially. They would shave these little pieces to make these trees, so it's a pretty cool item, and they're highly sought after. The second item is a Stepmaster vintage shoes. These are little girls' shoes that were never wore. I chose them because they were vintage and still had the original box to them. The box adds value because it has the old advertising on it, and it tells you exactly what type of shoe they were, and people will look for that. It did take a lot longer to sell these, and I probably had them priced too high, but I did lower the price on them, and I still made a good profit. The third one is called Bill Campbell pottery, and I was informed by a customer that this was Bill Campbell pottery. I couldn't read the signature on the bottom, and when you flip this plate over, it has a grayish tone to the ceramic, and it's signed inside. When the clay was soft, it was signed. So that tells you that it should be original. If it was a sticker, it could be less authentic. So you kind of have to weigh that out. The ones that are signed in thick clay with a clay tool, you know it probably was the actual artist that signed it. Once I was informed that it was a Bill Campbell piece, I raised the price because it had more value then, and I sold it within a day or 2. The fourth one is a Gottinger vanity tray set. This is a vintage piece, brand new in the box. It was never used. Still had the styrofoam around it and the plastic sleeves around each piece. Brand new. I bought it because it was brand new and vintage. It's not real old. As you can see, it's got the pretty shiny silver, and you can kind of tell older pieces by how they're tarnished. And this one is not a real high quality one, but it was still in the box and vintage, so I thought I'd take a chance at it. So which one of these 4 do you think sold for the most? If you guessed one of these 2, you're right, because I profited the same on both of these. So these trees profited for $31.76, and the shoes profited for $31.76. And the Bill Campbell was close behind at $30.69, as well as this one. I know it's strange that they came out even, but with the eBay fees, and I priced my stuff kind of the same. Like this one, I might have priced at $34.99 or $39.99. And let me look and see what I did price it. It was priced at $38 plus shipping, and the trees were priced at $39.99. So my profit came out the same on both of them and the same on the other two. So let's move on to the next one. If you got a star for that, keep that in mind. Second one, we have a Chaps men's blazer, which is a typical men's blazer. It's not vintage or anything. I had this for a while. I finally took a best offer, and I guess we're getting back into the business mode because people were off for so long that suits are starting to sell again, which I had this for over a year. And I also have another Chaps blazer that's still sitting here. So it's not something I would probably go out and buy again. The Santa mini mugs, I would buy again. I would buy them over and over and over again. You can see the quality of these aren't the best, but they still sell, and they sold within days of me listing them, a couple days. The next one is Mikasa glass candy. These are almost like brand new in the crate. Anytime there's a crate around the item, like in a Christmas decoration, you probably have some value there because that crate is protecting them carefully, and they're all in like a formed velvety insert. So none of these were broke. They were in excellent condition. And I saw that they were Mikasa, which is stamped on the top of the lid. So I picked them up in a heartbeat. Let's see, I paid $4 for that at a holiday rummage sale. The next one is a Victorian cherub mirror, and it's very unique. I buy a lot of cherub and Victorian items because they're vintage and they're adorable, and there's diehard collectors out there of art decorators that decorate in Victorian style. So I always pick up this stuff, and I've never seen a mirror like this before, so I had to get it, and it didn't take that long to sell. So which one of these do you think I profited the most on? Obviously over $30. If you picked the Mikasa candy, you're absolutely right. That one was a great purchase. Now for the Chaps men's blazer, I paid $1 for it. So and the profit, $32, was absolutely great. The Santa mini mugs I bought at the holiday sale, same as the Mikasa candy, and I only paid about 50 cents for these four because I bought a basket of these for like $1. I think it was $1, maybe 75 cents. And the Mikasa I paid $4 for, and the cherub mirror I paid $4.50 for it. And I think I got it at a thrift store. So all of these were an excellent profit, and I was really happy with the purchases. Next four, we have a folk art wood. This was hand carved. I love finding wood carved, hand carved items. They're just good sellers, and people like art. And this one is folk art, so a lot of people like folk art. So we have, and a lot of people like cats. So we had three good things going for it. It was a wood hand carved piece, it was a cat, and it was folk art. So I paid $5 for it at a auction. The next one, it's an animated vintage witch. I bought four of these at an estate sale, and I think I paid $5 a piece for them. And they're vintage, and people collect a lot of Halloween stuff. So that was a good thing. I knew to pick it up because it was a witch, and it was vintage, and it was Halloween related. The next one's Trifari, which is an excellent jewelry brand for costume jewelry. This is the first piece I found that actually had the original tag on it. You don't hardly find any brooches or pins or necklaces that are vintage with their original tag, because they just pull them off and wear them. And the next one is another Erzgebirge handcrafted tree lot. These are a little bit smaller trees than the mother two, but so I did a conglomeration of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of them. And this sold, and it was a very good seller. So out of these 4, which ones do you think sold for or profited for the most? If you chose the Trifari piece, you're absolutely right, because it had the tag on it. That is what made it worth more, in my opinion. Trifari is a good costume piece to pick up, but it's definitely worth looking for ones that have if it has the original tag on it and you can tell it's costume, then pick it up, especially if it's a decent price. So all of these were vintage items. Again, that's mostly what I purchased, but not everything I buy is vintage. Moving on to the next screen, we have Mimi Fenton chicken plate, which Fenton is absolutely a great brand to buy in glassware. A lot of times it's hard to tell if it's Fenton or not if you're not familiar with glass pieces. It's one of the higher end brands, higher priced brands. This one had Mimi real little in the center on the bottom, and everybody else was buying everything at this auction for high prices, and not hardly anybody was bidding on this. I didn't know it was Fenton. I knew it was Mimi, but I didn't know Fenton made a Mimi plate. And there's chickens all over it, if you can kind of see that. And I ended up paying $10 for it, but still I profited over $30 on it. Then the next one is a Columbia snowsuit. I always pick up Columbia. It's a fairly good sporting brand. And this was a snowsuit. I had to get it because it was a snowsuit. It's so much more of a substantial piece of clothing. And I don't buy a whole lot of clothing anymore. And this is something I would pick up again in a heartbeat. The next one is a Hi-Ho Productions lamp. I used to work at an antique store. I didn't really work there. I helped out the owner because we were business partners, not in the antique store, but in something else. And she had toy box elephant that looked just like this. And everybody absolutely loved it. And when I seen this lamp, which was a much smaller version of that big toy box, I had to have it. I fell in love with it. I ended up paying $3 for it. I mean, that was so cheap. I got it at an auction. I think there was 2 other items with it, which I think I already sold. So it's a Hi-Ho Productions, which I wouldn't know to look for that brand, but this type of thing, very unique looking piece, is definitely worth looking up. The next piece is a jewelry piece. It's a chunky gold piece that has a little llama in the middle. It's very unique with the chain tassels on it. Something worth looking up. The brand was stamped on the back, Cecil Craft, New York City. After I looked this up, I knew I should pick it up. I paid $1 for it. I mean, you can't hardly pass it up. You can take a chance on it when it's that cheap. So which one of these 4 do you think were the best profiting items out of the 4? Yes, it was the Fenton piece. $57.94 I profited on that. And then the necklace, then the little lamp, and then the Columbia snowsuit. So the Fenton glass is the winner on this one. If you chose that one, give yourself another star. And let's move on to the next screen. This is the last of the 20. These are the 4 highest profiting items for me in the month of October. So take a good look at them just to give you an idea of what to get. You might not be able to find these exact ones when you're out and about, but when you see something similar, you'll know to stop and take a look at them and look it up. This first one I found at an estate sale is Busilla needlework kit. She had a stack of these needlework kits. I knew that needlework kits were worth something. I've had a problem trying to sell open packages because people are always afraid it's going to be missing something, and I'm not going to go through all of them and find out if all the pieces and all the threads are included. So what I do when I'm at an estate sale, let's say, I will look for all the sealed packages and then I'll narrow it down. Bucilla is probably one of the best brands to look for. This one was still sealed, which was a bonus, and it was also a vintage piece. Plus, it was a Christmas piece. So we have three good things going for it. It's a Bucilla needlework kit, it's Christmassy, and it's vintage. It was a no-brainer. I didn't even look it up. I just bought it. Plus, I think they only had $1 on them. I think it was $1 a piece, and this was the only one that was still sealed. I kind of wish I would have looked at the other ones a little closer, but I still probably would have not bought them since they were opened. The next one is a Sadler teapot set of 3. I was trying to sell these individually, and a lady asked if she could buy all 3 of them. It was getting shipped overseas. So I did put them together, which made the price go up a lot. But Sadler, I've bought before, and I knew when I was out and about to look these teapots up. Teapots are a good item, but they're so readily available. You got to be careful. You got to look up the brand for sure. And Sadler is a pretty good brand. And it's a collectible, so people collect the different scenes that are on these. They're all different, like Charles Dickens, I think, and I don't know, Oliver Twist or something. So putting all 3 of these together did raise the value of this one. Next one's a Michael Michaud frame. This one I bought at a yard sale, I think for $3. Really didn't know what I had until I got home and looked it up. I just liked the quality of it. It was heavy duty, nicely done. And when I looked up Michael Michaud, he travels the world and he collects flowers and he makes forms of flowers that he comes across along his travels, and he recreates them in jewelry pieces and frames and different types of sculptures. So this piece was a really nice, it's only 5 by 7, so it's not real big, but it's in the top 4 of my sales for October, so that tells you it's of good quality. The next one is a Hank's Craft vintage vaporizer. I took a chance on this. I really almost wanted to leave it at the auction. It came with a whole bunch of other stuff that I got for probably $1 or $2 or $3. It was like 4 boxes of stuff, and I loaded my car up with everything because you never know. Brought it home, and then I go through it, and then I look it up and sort the things that I don't want anymore and donate them. And this was something to keep. I ended up selling it locally, and I had to meet the girl out at the park, and everything went fine. So it was all good. It was a good sale. So these last 4, which one do you think sold for the most? It was the Michael Michaud frame. It sold for $100 on best offer. My profit was $86.14. It was an awesome purchase. Definitely keep your eye out for the fancier, nicer, heavy duty, good quality frames. The next one were the 3 teapots, which probably would have sold for about $25 a piece. Then the Bucilla needlework kit sold for $60.63. I keep saying it sold for. That is my profit on this. The Bucilla sold for $70. My profit was $60. The Hank's Craft vaporizer profited $59.84, but sold for $68.99. So these are the 4 items that sold for the most in October. I really hope that you learned something from this video. And how many stars did you get? Did you get all 5? Leave it in the comments below and let me know how well you did. If you're a 5-star person, a 4-star person, just let me know. And I hope you enjoyed playing the game with me, and I hope you have a great day.